it's interesting because the beach volleyball side of it only dates back to 1996.
Yeah.
So there were 2 Olympic Games, 2 summer games, 96 and 2000, where you were there to play indoor, that beach volleyball is going on, but you're not a part of it. Are you even aware of it? Is it something that you follow?
No, not at all. The only reason I was aware of beach volleyball was because in Sydney, which was my first Olympics, Bondi Beach was the place to be. It was sold out, it was rocking. The women's Australian team won the gold medal at home. You know, Cinderella story, amazing, and Misty May was playing. And so I was very familiar with that part of it. But growing up, I would consciously avoid touching a volleyball on the sand. I didn't want to look like an idiot. You know, I grew up near Santa Cruz. I would not do it. We would play at Stanford on the sand courts once in a while. I was pathetic. So it took a gut check and a lot of humility to kind of make that change.
Educate me as to why the beach game is so much different than the hard court game, because I see this driven, athletic, physically gifted woman, and I think, well, okay, so she goes to the beach and she's now on sand, but she's still a great volleyball player. What's so different about it, besides not having as many people on each side?
Yeah, well, that's what I love most about our sport, personally, is the fact that it's 2-on-2. I love that accountability that you have. But for me, I mean, have you walked in the sand? Have you ran in the sand?
It's awful. Right? I'm not saying it's not awful.
Exactly. So my ego was in the way, and I'm like, I already feel like Bambi enough in life. So to make the transition from indoor, where I felt pretty comfortable, to the sand, where I felt like Bambi on steroids, was really hard for my ego. And I'm like, I don't want to look like a fool, you know? And I looked, I mean, you saw me playing volleyball, like that's not that graceful, but I got the job done. And then when I got out to the beach, I was like, gosh, I'm super white and pasty, and you have to wear these bikinis, and, you know, just took some time.
Yeah, so who goes to who? Misty May goes to you, you knock on Misty May's door. How does this marriage happen?
Well, Margie and Tim, my parents, ran into Misty's parents, and they're like, you know, these girls should get together and see how it works. You know, just let's have Kerri come down and try out, and we'll see where it goes. And that was the start of it.
You're basically trying out for Misty.
Yes. It was gnarly, and she's such a cruiser, and she's like, it wasn't a tryout, come on, we were just playing. And I'm like, to me, it was everything. If I mess this up, are you kidding me? Like, I don't want to go overseas and play indoor. I'm a homebody. I like being home. The beach sounds great. But I had never, ever played a match, ever on the beach. And so we played in Huntington Beach. Her parents set up a game against my, at the time, future husband. And it was kind of love at first sight for a lot of things.
A lot of things, with the game itself and with this man, Casey.
Yeah.
But let's talk about specifically this marriage happens, not you and Casey right away, but you and Misty. And it was part of the introduction. You cried for a long time because it was grueling trying to learn this game, or the training
It was
involved.
humbling. It wasn't grueling. I know how to work. I love working. Like, I'm like blue collar family. We like to work. I like to sweat. I like to get gritty. Like, that's easy. The hard part is the emotional stuff, the feeling like I'm a failure, that feeling that if we lose, it's on my shoulders. And that was my fault, because that's how I put it on myself. It's a team sport, you know. I didn't have to do all that, and that kind of minimized me. And I think it made the transition harder than it had to be, where if I was just like, this is what it is, I'm gonna go have fun, work and grow with this woman, and we're gonna kick ass. But it was just something I had to go through, because it was scary. You know, when you're scared, you just kind of play out the worst case scenarios, and a lot of just crazy stuff comes from fear. And I didn't want to fail. But all of a sudden, we were together, we were on the road, and we were in Italy, ready for our first event, and I was her partner. I was my idol's partner, and it was gnarly. It was so rad.